Greetings, Moonlight citizens. This is your Moonlight King with another episode of Moonlight Kingdom Reviews. And this episode, we'll be reviewing The Killing Joke movie, the Warner Brothers produced, DC Studios released, Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy starring Killing Joke movie. This is the worst Batman movie. I'm not saying it's the worst Batman movie in terms of compared to his other movies. I'm saying it's the worst movie in terms of how this movie uses Batman. And find out why on this episode of Moonlight Kingdom Reviews. All right, as is normally the case with these reviews, let's give some background on this film. After the release of Batman Arkham Knight in 2015, Mark Hamill stated that due to the strain that playing the Joker put on his voice, that he would never play the Joker again unless it was for Batman the Killing Joke. If they ever decided to adapt that into a film. And he also originally stated that once this movie got rolling, he stated that this film would be his last time voicing the Joker. Kevin Conroy also thought about retiring his performance as Batman after this film, but they both ended up changing their minds to reprise both their roles in the Cartoon Network series Justice League Action. I love that shit. That's a good show, man. Hamill also, after that, said that he would continue to voice the Joker as long as Kevin Conroy continued to voice Batman. But after Kevin Conroy passed away in 2022, Hamill announced that he would never voice the Joker again. And that's pretty sad. It is a pretty sad thing that we'll never hear Mark Hamill's Joker again, but it is very fitting, and in the sense that, as much as Kevin Conroy was the Batman, like Mark Hamill was the Joker. Those two performances complemented each other so well, and it wouldn't seem right to hear like Mark Hamill's Joker go up against another Batman, or to hear Kevin Conroy's Batman go up against a different Joker. This film was originally set to be released straight to video, but as its popularity had grown so much after the announcement that Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill would be reprising their roles, that Warner Brothers decided to give it a theatrical release, and it became the second DC animated film to ever hit theaters, with the other one being Mask of the Phantasm back in 1993. It was also DC's third R-rated film released in theaters, because the other one was Watchmen and V for Vendetta. V for Vendetta is a really underrated classic, and Watchmen gets way more hate than it deserves, man. Those movies are really good. I personally enjoyed them. I enjoyed them more than I enjoyed this, though. I'll get into why later. So, yeah. This was the first Batman animated film released in theaters. No, this is the first R-rated Batman animated movie released in theaters, and the second R-rated Batman film ever released after, Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice's Ultimate Edition came out on Blu-ray. Anyway, yeah, that's the background I got with regards to the character. See what else this movie got going on. All right, getting into the particulars. Directed by Sam Liu, written by Brian Azzarello, based on Batman the Killing Joke by Alan Moore. It's produced by Bruce Timm, classic, starring Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, Tara Strong, Ray Wise. Produced by DC Entertainment, Warner Brothers Animation. Distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures and Fathom Events. Released on July 22, 2016, with a running time of 77 minutes. Well, there goes that theory I had. At a budget of $3.5 million, and it came out to a box office return of $4.4 million, so it flopped. Wasn't quite a box office bomb, but, given the budget and like what it got back, in order for a movie to be a success, you need to make back like 1.25 times the budget. In order to warrant a sequel, you need to make twice the budget, but like this made like $4 million on a $3 million budget, so it's like not so good. But I'd reckon that it made back most of its budget with like DVD sales and so on. So like I suppose, I guess it turned out to be a success in the end, but overall in terms of what it made in the cinema, not so great. Yeah. Apparently this was supposed to, development on a Killing Joke movie started back in 2009, but it stalled because of the other Alan Moore adaptation, Watchmen. So like I think it was a case of like, well, this other Alan Moore property that we adapted didn't do so good, So if we readapt this now, it won't do so good. So let's just put the kibosh on it. But then, with renewed interest in Mark Hamill as he returned to playing Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars movies, and him being like, if I was to come back, I would come back to do Killing Joke. It was like, okay, let's do that. Like Mark Hamill's got this resurgence of popularity, and he said he'd come back to do Killing Joke. That's something we can do now, because clearly at this point, like 2015, there was a market for R-rated superhero films. So yeah, that's the much background I'm going to give for that. So let's get into the actual film, Batman: The Killing Joke. Okay, I'm gonna get this out of the way, oh man. Like, this is, for the most part, a good movie. And I said it, man. Even this is, for the most part, a good movie. Killing the Joke, The Killing Joke is a good story. Until that third act comes in, man. Like, I mean, yeah, with the first act of the movie, it's not really the Batman Killing Joke movie. The first act of the movie is it's a Batgirl story, basically. Like, it's the first 30 minutes of the movie aren't a Batman movie. They're Batgirl featuring Batman. There, I said it, man. Like, it's a story about Batgirl encountering this like mob guy named Paris Franz. This doesn't happen in the Killing Joke book, by the way. This is made for the movie. This character is created for the movie. Paris Franz, and he's like moving up in the mob, doing these crazy things, trying to get money, and Batgirl's trying to stop him. And he becomes infatuated with her. And the first time she encounters him, he actually manages to overpower her, outmaneuver her, and he like has a drop on her. Like, he drugs her, and she's like dazed and confused, and he's like holding her up. And when you see this, it's like, this is kind of messed up, man. Like, yo, this creepy ass dude was able to get the drop on Batgirl, and she was able to lock herself in a safe for a bit to get away from this guy. He left, and Batman showed up and saved her. Told her straight up, like, you were pretty out of it for a while. Like, this dude was able to get the jump on you. I don't think you should be on this case, man. Like, this, yeah, in her eyes, like, yeah, this dude got the jump on me, but like, damn, this is just like some dude. It's just a mob guy. He's nothing. But like, I can take this guy. Like, we can take this dude, no problem. And Batman's like, nah, this dude got the drop on you. Like, from what I view it, it's case of, like, he wants to protect her. Like, he doesn't want to see her get hurt, and she almost did. Because like later in the movie, he dresses her down because when Batman fights crime, he's not out there trying to prove something. He's not fighting crime to prove something. Because like, she stays on this case and tries to take down Franz as a way to prove, like, hey, I can handle this. Like, stop treating me like I'm a rookie or whatever. Like, we're partners, we're supposed to be partners in this. And Batman basically says, we're not partners. At no point in any of this stuff were we partners. Like, we ain't partners. We ain't equals. We're like, don't get it twisted. You're my sidekick. Like, I can tell you what you do because, like, I let you do this. Like, I let you come into this world and help me fight crime now and then, like, and I can tell you to shut this down when I feel like it, because at the end of the day, like, we ain't partners. You're still, in your eyes, like, the way he views this, in her eyes, this is all still a game to you. Like, you're in this for the thrills. And even in her opening narration, she talks about like how she would get a kick out of doing this, like how she would enjoy fighting crime, and like the fact that she was able to get taken down by this mob guy. It's like, this you his point is like, you haven't been pushed to the brink like I have. You haven't seen how bad people can get. You haven't seen how terrible things can get like I have. You are not ready for this kind of like menace, basically. You don't. And she's sticking around to prove, yes, I am. I'm totally capable of this. But there's also this subplot of the fact that she has feelings for Batman. This is not in the comic. Like, this is something that they did for the movie. She has feelings for Batman, and when she's not trying to fight crime, she spends most of the time in the movie just moaning and complaining to her gay best friend. I don't know his name, but like, the fact that, I mean, this movie was made in like 2015, but like, you'd swear it was made in like 2005 or something. But you can tell this is, I mean, it just feels so dated with like having like the gay best friend that the chick complains to about the man in her life. You know, like granted, production started in 2009, so maybe like the script was written back in 2009 when this stuff wasn't as heavily cliched as it is now. But like, you know, like still, it's like so. Yeah, this friend, this is the typical like gay best friend. He exists solely to like check in on Barbara and ask like, so what's going on with this man in your life, huh? How you feel about this dude? Like this, because this like the gay dude has nothing else to do in this story. He's got nothing else going on but to ask about Barbara and her relationship life and her sex life and whatever. Yeah, he's just the stereotypical gay best friend. But yeah, I mean, it at first when that trope was introduced, like it was probably seen as a good thing for it to be like, yeah, you know, it's good that the character has like the gay best friend, you know, representation or whatever. But like after a while, that character just became a cliche. You know, like the female character has a gay best friend. You know, like the only thing that's missing is like the sassy black best friend or something who comes in just spouting wise and stuff. You know, like I'm glad they didn't have that. Damn. Like I'll take a gay best friend over the sassy black character any day, man. Like that's But anyway, yeah, it gets to a point where you know, like she gets so fed up with her treating him like a subordinate, and they have this argument that just it turns into them fighting for a bit, and then it just turned into them having sex on this rooftop. And I'm just, you know, like, because I guess like Batman feels the same way about Barbara, because like he does reciprocate this stuff. That there's no moment where he's like, wait, no, we shouldn't do that. No, that they do. They you know they hook up on this rooftop, you know, where basically anybody can see because there are taller buildings around here. Like anybody with binoculars, something can, or even anybody in an adjacent building can just look outside and see Barbara Gordon banging Batman. You know, like I don't know what's happening, man. Like someone thought this was a good idea. Like let's have for the first 30 minutes the Barbara Gordon story, and let's have her be in love with Batman and hook up with Batman, and then later on be like, you know, it didn't mean anything. You know, it doesn't have to mean anything. Like we ain't got to be in a relationship or nothing. You know, just he just turns into like like she tries calling him, he's not picking up. She's leaving voicemails. She's that chick, like that chick you hook up with one time, and then because you hooked up with them one time, it's like they just become obsessed with you. Like they leaving phone calls and texts, and like they really trying to get a hold of you. Like Batman straight up just ghosts her after that. Like which. I mean, you would kind of expect from this guy because with Bruce Wayne, he's just like you know debonair playboy type. He'll like meet a woman, hook up with her, and then like he'll never see her again. So like, but like when it comes to like him as Batman, that's who he really is. You know, when he puts on that mask, he becomes who he really is, and you could understand why a character like that wouldn't know how to react in this kind of situation because Barbara Gordon is like, for lack of a better term, a character that he watched like grow up in a sense. Like he was when he first became Batman, like she was still like really young, and then when she joined him, you know, like she was I don't know how old she was, but she was still like, let's say late teens. I don't know, old enough to drive. I guess like yeah. She was like old enough to drive 'cause she was on the motorcycle, but yeah. So it's you can see like you can imagine there's a conflict there. It's like, damn, I don't know how to react to this because like I'm real tight with your dad, but at the same time, you know, there's these feelings that you have for me, I can see, and there's these feelings I have for you, but we can't go beyond that because it's gonna interfere with our abilities to fight crime, whatever. So yeah, Paris Franz becomes obsessed with Barbara, and he starts committing crimes to like get her attention, and he becomes obsessed to like a weird way because there's a scene where he gets with he like hooks up with these two women, and once they're done. Like one of the women comes out and is like, you know, she points out like he was really weird. She's like, sorry. Like he was weird because like he had her cut up a pillowcase and then put over her head to look like a Batgirl mask. Like he didn't just want to, he didn't become obsessed with Batgirl to like kill Batgirl like it was a Joker. Like he wanted to, you know, he wanted Batgirl. You know, like he really wanted Batgirl in his own depraved way. He became infatuated with her. Just okay. So when you have this villain, it's like okay, surely this is going to be that case. Like Batman mentioned, like she hadn't been pushed to that brink. She hasn't gone to the edge like he was. This is going to be the case that brings her there. And it is, she does see the edge in this case. She sees like how far some women can go. Granted, it's not to the same levels of depravity that like Batman's been exposed to, but she does see like, okay, there's a level of crazy out there that like, I'm gonna have to deal with if I want to keep doing this and keep being Batgirl. And where I don't like what the movie does, I don't like that the movie has her quit. It has her be like, you know what? After seeing, what Franz would do, like the level of the kind of people I would have to deal with if I continued being this crusader alongside you, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not for me anymore. Basically she says, this shit ain't fun anymore. This is getting real now. So like, nah, I don't want in this. Because I hate that she quits because it basically proves him right. When he says that like this is all still a game to you, and she quits once it like gets real and like death becomes something that's like, oh, it's like, oh damn, like I'm going up against these lunatics. I'm actually risking death doing this. It's like, you know what? This is all just too real for me. Like that's what it comes across like. It just makes him feel right, and it like invalidates what she felt on the matter. Like she was ready, and it's like she she was ready to deal with this, but she didn't want to be. It's like, damn, like I can deal with this kind of thing, but you know what? I don't want to. I want a normal civilian life. And once it's established, like she quits being Batgirl, like hands in her cape and everything, and starts to live a normal life, that's when the actual movie kicks in. That's when the Killing Joke actually starts. So Batman goes to Arkham Asylum to visit the Joker. He wants to talk to him. Just talk to him. He goes there and he has this like kind of heart dark moment of like, this thing that we're doing, going run around in circles like you and me, it's gonna end with either you killing me or me killing you. I don't want your blood on my hands, man. Like this, that's like something's gotta give, man. I think, yeah, that's basically what he's saying. Something's gotta give. He grabs Joker's hand and he notices that, the paint rubbed off. Like his hands are white because the paint rubbed off. And he immediately knows this is not the Joker. Like, where is he? And the camera cuts to show where the Joker is. Throughout this part of the story, before I get into what happened, we get the Joker's origin. Well, it's not definitively the Joker's origin because like the man says himself, if he was gonna have an origin, it's gonna be multiple choice. Well, this is one of the origins. It's the most true. The Joker was this struggling stand-up comic. He quit his job working at Ace Chemicals factory to be a comedian, and he sucks. Like he's that guy from the beginning of Bad Boys. Like he's like, oh yeah, well I'm a stand-up comedian and I suck. Yeah, he's a stand-up comedian and he absolutely sucks. I mean, hot damn, dude. These I don't know, man. Like if I could describe how much he sucks, man, it's like that one promo The Rock cut about Billy Gunn after he won King of the Ring. You're like, I don't know, how do I describe the Joker during this time period? Well, he basically goes to these gangsters and, well, I don't know. It's like that promo The Rock had. Dear God, my name's Joke. My name is whatever the hell this character's name was beforehand. And I'm a stand-up comedian, but everybody still thinks I absolutely suck. What do I do? I can't support my wife. I can't put a food on the table. I'm like, oh, people on stage hate me. I'm flopping jokes and all this. We live in a dumpy apartment. I can't pay my rent. What am I gonna do? Oh, I don't know, man. Like, here's a solution. The solution that he goes with is he's gonna work with some gangsters to rip off the factory that he used to work at. A simpler, less deadly solution would be well, I don't know. Just off the top of my head, I could suggest that instead of teaming up with a bunch of gangsters to commit a crime to make money to get out of the dumpy apartment and actually live a normal life, you could, if you wanted to, stop this foolishness about being a crappy comedian and, just get a fucking job. Damn. Is wrong with this dude, man? Like, yes, I feel sorry for the fact that he's living in some crappy apartment. He quit his job to pursue his dream, and his dream isn't working out. But like, Still, man, if you really want to do right by your wife and all this shit, then get a fucking job. Damn. Stop crying like, oh man, like they said I wasn't funny. Then get a job. Like, man, oh, we need money to pay the rent. Get a job. Oh, we need money so we can get out of this crappy house and like raise this baby in a proper home. Get a job. Just damn, man. Like his whole problems could have been solved if he just got a job, man. Get a fucking job. Damn. But yeah, whatever. I do feel sorry for. He meets these gangsters in the most depressing bar I've ever seen in my life. Like man, this is the most depressing bar I've ever seen. The whole thing is like awash in like sepia tone, but at the same thing, like, yeah, it already looks grimy and sad, but this bar is like really sad. There's like a bunch of sailors who you would expect to be all rowdy and happy because like they're back home and they're like slumped over each other, like they've been crying. Like the dudes at the bar passed out. There's a guy, like when we see Joker sitting across from the two gangsters and is chit-chatting, there's a dude in the background he's just moping. Like he's just moping. Like thing is, none of these background characters move. Like lazy animation right there. None of those characters move. But like that dude especially, he has this look on his face that just says, man, my life sucks. Like just you don't move. Like, man, these people be like, may as well be cardboard cutouts with how much emotion they radiate. They're just so dour and down. So yeah, Joker, like whatever the heck his name is, does the job, and on the job he dresses up like the Red Hood, and he has a run-in with Batman during this job, which causes him to fall backwards into this vat of chemicals. So in a way, if you think about it, Batman inadvertently created the Joker. He inadvertently created one of his greatest nemesis, whatever the plural for nemesis is. He created the Joker inadvertently. So yeah. And he comes out through this like sewage tunnel. He looks at himself in a puddle and sees that the chemicals he fell into, they dyed his hair green and like bleached his skin. And from now on, he went crazy and became the Joker we know. Cuts to and we go back to the present. We see Barbara's living a normal life, and her and her father are kind of reminiscing about like the first time Batman showed up, and they're looking through a photo album, and there's a knock on the door. She opens it, and bam, bullet right in the stomach. She gets sent flying back through a table. She's paralyzed from the shot, and it's the Joker. Like some minions like snatch up and they beat up Gordon, and they leave Joker alone with Barbara, and he assaults her. Basically, he assaults her while she's laying there, like totally unable to defend herself. He then takes Gordon back to this amusement park that he bought, and he strips him of his clothes, has his minis tie him up, and like basically chain him up and put him on this like, I don't know, this like roller coaster, not a roller coaster, but like they put him on this like ride that takes him down this hall of monitors. And on those monitors, like basically he's taking him on this like carousel ride, trying to drive him insane. He has this like kangaroo court where this wasn't part of the comics, but it's a pretty nice addition to the story. It has this kangaroo court of like, what would you do if you had someone who didn't care about law and order, didn't care about like safety, and flagrantly abused the law to do as they wished, exacting their own will on the world. And Gordon was like, I throw the book at him. He's like, go ahead, throw the book. Come on, throw the book. And Gordon throws the book thinking he's throwing the book at the Joker, thinking that the Joker's talking about him. But then out of nowhere, this like cutout of Batman pops up. And it's like, really? The person I've been describing is the Batman. And that's a really nice parallel in that Joker would list all these things that go against the law. And, Gordon would imagine he's talking about the Joker, but it's like, really? I'm talking about Batman. In a way, these things that he listed do also apply to Batman, and it shows like there is some similarity between the two. So, Gordon is basically here to be driven mad by the Joker. The Joker wants to prove his point that all it takes is one bad day to turn the sanest man alive into a raving lunatic. So he basically sends Gordon through all this stuff, and he sends him down a hallway full of TVs, and on those TVs, it's pictures of his daughter, like who's been stripped of her clothes, and while she was being assaulted by the Joker, and it seems he's being driven mad here by these events. So yeah, I'm not a fan of this movie, like this part of the movie, because like Batman goes to the hospital, he meets Barbara, and she says like she remembers what happened. Like she recalls what the Joker did, and she tells him like this is, like he's taking it. It's basically the movie saying like Joker's different now. Like he's taking it to a new level. He's going all the way here. This is a totally different Joker than we've come to know. Like he's really gone off the rails. He's doing things that he before he's doing things he hadn't done before. Like he's doing more gruesome acts. Like Harry Bullock tells Batman like they found Barbara in a state of undress, and things. I don't like this film. I'll get into it later, but once I've laid out everything, I'll get into why this scene is one of the reasons I don't like this film. Like even the ending leads into like why I don't like this film, especially in this part. So Batman, goes throughout town, beating people for information, trying to find out where the Joker is. And he winds up at the amusement park. He gets there, and, after beating up Joker's like freak show minions, two-headed lady, strong woman, the minis, after beating them up, he finds Gordon, he's in his cage and, wraps a blanket around him. Gordon hasn't been driven mad. He's still sane, still has all his faculties, and he's not even angry. That's the thing. Another thing that bothers me about this, he's not even angry. He doesn't even look angry. He seems like, yeah, he's in a state of shock. He's kind of shook up, but like, he doesn't even seem mad. Like when Batman goes after the Joker, he's like, wait, we need to show him that our way works. You bring him in, but you bring him in by the book, damn it. We need to show him that our way works. I'm like, are you effing joking, man? Like, you just saw, of all the things you've seen, what has happened to you tonight, what has happened to your daughter, what you were forced to witness, you're still sitting there like, we need to show him that our way works. We need to, we gotta bring him in by the book. Are you freaking kidding me, man? You should be wanting to kill this dude. And you're sitting there like, nah, we need to show him, like, our way works. Like we can't, like, he can't be proven right. Like, what the, man? Ugh, whatever. So Batman chases the Joker into this funhouse, and I like this section because it reminded me of when Spider-Man and Mysterio fought at this amusement park, and it was a really good fight. They kind of paid homage to that in Far From Home when Spider-Man and Mysterio fought in that abandoned building, and there was all these different moments. Like there was that Hall of Mirrors, and Spider-Man tried to punch the mirror. It turns out it was a brick wall. Same thing happens here. Like he's like Batman's wrecking mirrors to get the Joker, and they end up brawling throughout the fun house. They go into this like upside down room. There's some back and forth between them, but ultimately Batman comes out on top, and the Joker's just like, oh well, you got me. Go ahead, get your standing ovation. Like he's like, beat me up and take me to the station. Like, like you always do. He kind of has that attitude about it. Batman doesn't. And like the Joker looks back and he's like kind of confused. It's like, wait, like, this is the part where you beat me up, take me to the cops, and I get locked up again. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you just standing there? He doesn't say this, but he has this look on his face that's like asking, like, wait, why are you just standing there? Like, you beat me, so like, why? What's going on? And Batman has this conversation with him. He just talks to him. So, I really don't like this part. I get why he would do this. Like, he just talks to him. He talks to him and says, like, nah. He has the conversation he had with the fake Joker. He basically says, this has to stop, man. Like, I don't want to keep fighting you. I don't want to keep hurting you, man. Like, this is only going to end one way. Either you and me, like, either I'm going to kill you or you're going to kill me. I don't want your blood on my hands, man. Let me help you. Let me try to, like, help you, man. Like, so you can have somewhat of a normal life. And the Joker basically just stands up and says, like, like, man, I get what you're saying, but no, it's too late for me. Like I can't be, I can't have that life again. Like, he's basically like, he used to be that guy, but he knows he'll never be that guy again. This is who he is now. This is all that he is now. And then the two, like, he tells Batman a joke about two guys breaking out of an insane asylum, and like, there've been various videos and readings into this joke, like Batman, like, and of this movie and this joke. It's basically saying that when the Joker tells Batman this joke, he's essentially referring to the two of them. They're the two crazies trying to break out of the insane asylum. Like, so. And then after telling this joke, like, Batman and the Joker, they laugh together. The movie basically ends with these two laughing. Like, ha 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 ha. And we get this mid-credit scene with Barbara, and she's like in a wheelchair now. She's back in her home. She's getting off a phone call with her dad, and she goes into the secret room to touch this computer. It's basically like, now she's Oracle. She's Batman's guy in the chair. Basically, she's providing him with information. She's doing all this stuff. So yeah, she's no longer Batgirl. She's now Oracle. She can help Batman in her own way. So yeah, that was Batman: The Killing Joke. Here are my thoughts on this. Like, the story. Here are my final thoughts on this. I don't like this. No, I don't like this movie. It's the Batgirl side of things. It's like I didn't enjoy that because I enjoyed the story. It is a good story to tell. I didn't enjoy the part where, like, she gives up because it's like, like, damn. I can't, because, like, she's kind of rattled by, like, the like, her encounter with Paris France, and I'm like, haven't you helped Batman before take on, like, other supervillains like Killer Croc and them? So, like, yet you're rattled by this random dude who becomes obsessed with you. Like, whatever. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that she spends her off time whinging and complaining to her gay best friend. Like, that cliche part of it all. But that story, it works as, that would have been a nice short film, its own beginning and ending. It would have made for a good short film. It just doesn't work as part of this movie, and it actively, I don't know, it kind of makes the movie worse. Not because it's bad or, like, the movie that follows it is that good. It's just that, well, Batman and Batgirl have this, they hook up, and then Batman kind of looks like a scummy dude because he ghosts her, and, like, the next time they talk again after she takes down Paris, it's like she's like, giving up being Batgirl, and he doesn't try to talk her out of it. He just lets it happen. And then later in the story, when she's been paralyzed and he finds out she was assaulted by the Joker, that he doesn't emote. Nothing changes. Like, this movie tries to paint the picture like, oh, he's going, like, he's really over the edge now. Like, Joker's, like, he's going all in on this, man. Like, he's more deranged than before. And yet Batman doesn't react accordingly. I don't know. It ends like, I don't know, man. This doesn't feel like an adaptation of The Killing Joke per se, even though this is exactly what happens in Killing Joke. It comes across like a really long episode of the animated series. It's like, yeah, there was blood, and yeah, there's killing and violence, but, like, it's a sanitized version of it. Like, granted, I don't want full nudity in this, like, comic book movie. And even in the comic book itself, there is no full nudity, but, like, in this movie, it's a more sanitized version of the violence that happens in that story. So yeah, and so it's like, this movie, the story it's based on ends the same way. Like, it ends the same way. The story this movie is based on ends the same way. Batman and Joker laughing. There's no Oracle scene. It's just the two of them laughing with each other, like, ha 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 ha, and then it just ends. That's not an ending. This doesn't have a good or bad ending. It just ends. Does Joker go back to jail? We don't, like, I think the filmmakers realized this, like, this ending isn't much of an ending, so they put in that scene where Barbara becomes Oracle. So, like, okay, like, her story as Batgirl is over, and her story as Oracle, like, it's just beginning, like, to give the movie some kind of conclusion. But problem is, it's a mid-credit scene. It's just this movie paints Batman. In such a terrible light. It's the second worst Batman story I've ever seen in film. Just yeah, it's like this is not a bad movie. It's just its movie makes Batman look terrible and downright ineffective in some places. Man, like damn, like ah, I don't. Oh man, this movie, man, like this movie just ends. I don't like that it just ends. I don't like that it paints Batman in a terrible light. Like for the first 30 minutes, it's not his movie. His name is on the marquee, and he does show up now and then in 30 minutes. But for large parts of the movie, in those first 30 minutes, he's not there. He's just not there. His presence is felt throughout, but mostly when Barbara just complains about him. And when he does show up, he shows up to like scold her about like, I told you you ain't ready for this. Like this, like you need to sit this one out. He basically becomes the freaking the police chief. That's like you're off the case. Give me a gun and your badge. Like he's just like, dude, this is. I mean, in this story, you would be the older veteran who's showing the new young detective how to like solve crimes or whatever. Like you don't know. Like he basically the Somerset character, and instead he's like he would be Somerset from Seven, while Batgirl would be the Brad Pitt. But in this movie, and in this movie, he's not Somerset. He's the police chief. He's Arlie Ermey's character. Like just basically when that beginning scene where he takes Brad Pitt off the case of the gluttony victim and he transfers him onto something else. It's like just whatever, man. This movie paints Batman in a terrible light. The character Paris Franz, like he's basically like a watered down Joker for Batgirl to deal with, and he does like he pushes her to the limit, and she beats him to a bloody pulp. And when she sees like, oh damn, like this dude got me so riled up and so emotional that I almost beat him to a bloody pulp. I almost like put my own life. I behaved rather recklessly because this dude was getting me riled up. It's like when a character in a movie feels the need to yell out stuff like you're not in my head, you're not getting to me. You're right, he's not getting to you. He's already gotten to you. And as for not being in your head, if you need to yell out that someone isn't in your head, they're not just in your head, they live in your head. They have a seasonal residency in your brain. They're taking up real estate. But yeah, the story. It's got some good action in it. It's got really good action scenes in it. The scenes where Batman's taking out a room full of thugs. The action's pretty good. It's very much in. I don't know if it's canon to the animated series, but he drives the same Batmobile as he does there, and so I guess it is, but I don't know for sure. So yeah, it feels very much of the animated series, but not fully, because there's a there's a moment where he's like interrogating this one guy, and like the guy's like, oh man, I don't know where it is, I swear to God, and he's like, swear to me. Like that's like, all right, that was a nice nod there, but yeah, it's not directly in the animated series from like the way it feels. It's animated series, it's Batman animated series adjacent. I do like that, and it makes sense that it is because they got like Bruce Timm and Conroy, and they got everyone back. So they got the main people of that universe in this one. So yeah, like just Gordon being like, it's got to be by the book. We need him to see our way works. Like man, like there's just no like he's already it's like he's already skipped ahead from shock, skipped anger, skipped sadness, and he's just right ahead at like I don't what's this like I guess bargain. Like he's already at bargain, and he's like, no, we need to show him it works. Yeah, if we show him that our way works and that he didn't succeed, then we'll come out on top. Then all this will have like meant something. Like, dude. Let me just say this. I will say this though. Is one of my final thoughts of the movie. No, honestly, I give this movie I give this movie a 5. Yeah, this is a 5 out of 10. It's a 5 out of 10 movie. So I give this rating, and I will say this though about this movie before I head out. The Dark Knight did it better. Dark Knight did what Killing Joke was trying to do way better than the Killing Joke movie did. The Joker was trying to prove all it takes is one bad day to turn the sanest man alive into a raving lunatic, and he successfully turned Harvey Dent, and that story did this story better than this story, or did its version of this story better than an adaptation of the story. I'll give it that much. That's basically what I think, man. Dark Knight did it better, and Dark Knight, as great as the movie is, has its flaws. But yeah, that's all I got to say on that. This has been Moonlight Kingdom Reviews, The Killing Joke. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more episodes of Moonlight Kingdom Reviews. And this has been a definite 5 out of 10 movie for me. So that's really all I have to say on that. And thank you for sitting this far, and peace out.
So hard for everything. Don't wanna lose my time or my mind on the grind, but I want a better life for me. I do the things I hate to do.